Hey there, Truth Donut here, and I think we should talk about the Dark Triad traits. What are the Dark Triad traits? These traits are a set of three that consist of narcissism, psychopathy, and Machiavellianism. In general, these three traits would be considered as antisocial traits, meaning that they are not favorable traits as they don't benefit society. These traits usually manifest into behavior that can be aggressive and even abusive. Starting off with narcissism, most of you probably already have a good idea of what narcissism is. For those of you who don't, narcissism is simply the tendency for someone to always brag about themselves or constantly talk about themselves and generally seek out attention and admiration from those around them. Narcissists are usually charming, driven, and attractive, but the more time you spend with them, the less you start to like them. This essentially means that people are naturally drawn to narcissists, but eventually their charms wear off. Next up is psychopathy. You can already tell by the name that this is not good. It has psychopath in it. People scoring high in psychopathy are usually impulsive, callous, manipulative, and even violent. These people seek to get a rush from life, and this could mean engaging in dangerous behavior without caring if those around them get hurt. These people also tend to get aggressive if they don't get their way or if someone tries to stop them from getting what they want. Some people have low enough psychopathy levels where they don't get into enough trouble to end up in jail, but the trade-off is that the ones around them usually end up paying the cost for their bad behavior. An example of this would be a friend or someone you know that may always get into arguments or even fights with people, and you're the one who always has to step in and stop it. Also, psychopathy individuals usually engage in blue-collar crimes, such as theft, violence, and things of that sort. The last triad trait is Machiavellianism. People scoring high in this trait are extremely manipulative and see others as a means to get what they want. They're basically opportunists. They may tell people what they want to hear, deceive them by lying, and hide their true motives so people go along with them. They will even exploit people if they need to. The difference between Machiavellians and psychopaths is that Machiavellians commit more white-collar crime. Think of Bernie Madoff and bankers on Wall Street. People high in this trait are usually regarded as master manipulators. So why is this important? Well, people who possess high levels of these three traits are usually very socially adept. They do better at job interviews because they don't get anxiety since they don't care what others think of them, and they know how to play to their strengths while hiding any weaknesses they may have. Basically, these people are comfortable and relaxed in situations that most of us would find a little stressful. Other important facts about people high in these dark triad traits would be their relationship preferences. Studies have found that people who score high in these traits are usually more into short-term casual type relationships rather than anything long-term. Researchers also found that those high in narcissism were more into one-night stands and friends with benefits type relationships. When it comes to career paths, research has found that dark triad individuals usually try to attain high levels of success. It's because of their narcissism and need for admiration that they try to get into positions of power or status. This could be anything from a politician to a movie star, and they can usually manipulate their way into these positions. Lastly, research has also dug into the emotional deficits these individuals possess. This means that dark triad individuals don't feel the same way normal people feel. Essentially, people high in these traits lack empathy for others, which translates into them not caring about anybody else's feelings or emotions. You probably figured this out by now, but dark triad individuals are not very pleasant to be around. If you're wondering how many people in the world possess high levels of these dark triad traits, you would probably be surprised to find out that the numbers are quite low. A university study created a scale to determine how many people were high in dark traits. The scale was from 0 to 84, meaning scoring 84 would be extremely high. They found that most people scored around 36, and this is a relatively low score for these dark triad traits. Anything above 45 would be considered high, and the lowest scores they found were around 12. Basically, what this illustrates is that most people are pretty low in these dark traits, while there are a small number that score high and a small number that score pretty low. Tying everything together, the research suggests that we are all born with these dark traits, but we differ greatly in the degree of how high we score on these traits. So not everybody is a narcissistic, psychopathic Machiavellian. It's quite the opposite. There are not a lot of these individuals out there, and the ones that are would probably have a tough time surviving. This could simply be explained by evolutionary psychology, meaning that the reason we don't have a lot of dark triad individuals is because it could be a disadvantage for someone to be high in these traits. People would not trust them, and they would likely become an outcast of society, which would decrease their chance of reproduction and survival. And because these individuals get into trouble, they probably would end up in prison sooner or later. In conclusion, most of us are not high in these traits, and we don't have to worry about others high in these traits because there are so few of them, although you may know people who may fit the descriptions. That's it for today's video, and if you enjoyed this video or learned something new, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.